What's poppin', family? Got a dope show for y'all today, man. Hope y'all having a great Monday, man. Getting up, getting to the money, and focused on you and yours. Real talk. Let the vibes play.
His parents give him love and affection to keep him strong, moving in the right direction, living just enough for the city. His father works some days for 14 hours, and you can bet he barely makes $1. His mother goes to scrub the floors for Minnie, and you best believe she hardly gets a penny, living just enough for the city.
Our problem has been, as black people, we've always been concerned about white America, never about us. And what we've always thought is that white America equal the same interest as us. That is not true. We must now be concerned with us. Let me give you some examples. We always want to prove what good Americans we are. The very first man to die for the War of Independence in this country was a black man named Crispus Attucks. Crispus Attucks. He was a fool. Because here he was dying for white folk freedom, and millions of his brothers were enslaved in the very country. Oh, but we wanted to prove what great Americans we were. We begged the white folk to let us fight in the War of Independence, and they said no. So we organized ourselves in bands of armies, training ourselves with our bare foot to prove to the white folk what great Americans we were. Please let us fight, white folk. And finally they came and inspected our troops and said, good niggas, you can fight. And they had us fighting the Indians. Like fools, we should have teamed up with the Indians and take care of you know who.
The Trevor Jackson Podcast.
What's poppin', man? You know, thank y'all for tuning in, first of all. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button to help us get in the algorithm. Aren't we all happy the election is over? Aren't we all happy that people can get back to the regular scheduled program? Let me get my tie right, man. Back to the regular scheduled program. Election years be hell, man. People be complaining. Folks be getting arrested and all type of crimes. And the Olympics was this year. What a hell of a year, man. Real talk, man. Election year 2024. Who did you vote for? Who you felt as if they had the best interest for you and your family? Did you vote based upon feelings and emotions or race politics? Did you vote because you didn't like somebody? What did you vote for, man? Real spill. But, you know, my platform is, normally we talk hip hop and culture and sports and just a multitude of things on this channel. But what got me interested into politics and the presidential race and local politics, you know, I've had local politicians on the show also. And mayors and people running for mayor and all of that on the show also. We had Judge Joe Brown, Gwen McKenzie. We had a multitude of people on the show that was candidates for their city or their state. And the thing that got me into politics was the top of the year 2023. What really intrigued me, and like, even though the election is over and I know people ain't going to be talking about it because it's not trending no more or it's over to them, I'm still going to be listening to the BB network, the Washington Post, listening to the New York Times podcast and all of that old type of stuff, man, and Candace Owens and a multitude of people. It's just that I gotta keep my ear to the street because I want to know what people are doing with my tax dollars, what ideas that they're having and changes that they want to make with my tax dollars. It's mandatory because I will make sure that I call you out and vote you out if I don't like what type of time you on. That's just me. But during this episode, I want to talk about the things that I perceive cause Kamala to lose and the things that I perceive cause Trump to win. I got a couple of clips for y'all. And the first thing I want to say is, though, did y'all notice how much the division was during this election? You know, on my channel, every episode I talk about black folk need to unify, but the whole country need to unify. Because people are disgruntled and mad and relationships breaking up. Women talking about they ain't having sex no more. Because my man voted for Trump. He ain't getting none for 4 years. Stop the cap, man. People can have their own opinions. People can be, you know, on the opposite sides of you, disagree with you, and it doesn't have to be an argument. It shouldn't affect you at all because somebody don't agree with you. But let's get into this first conversation, man, and we get ready to break it on down.
Yeah. I would ask that you don't look at the show. What you look at, what you should look at is the ideological tilt that has taken place in our country. We've gotten to a point where, God forbid, somebody has a difference of opinion and a different form of ideology, then you're damn near the Antichrist. And that's not what makes this country great. I mean, the reality is that, you know what, we could sit up there and we could say what we want, and everybody has their different opinions about Donald Trump. You know how I felt. You knew why I didn't vote for him. I don't like the way he behaves. I think the presidency is a statesmanship position, and I think that level of hubris that he's accustomed to showing needs to be dialed back significantly. But having said that, the bottom line is simple. You can look at a lot of things on the right or the left. He talked about the economy. Okay, Biden inherited, what was it, like 1.5% in terms of inflation. It ballooned to over 9.1% before it got dialed down a little bit. We looked at open borders. Barack Obama was once considered the deporter in chief because he actually deported more folks than Donald Trump. But Biden comes into office, and the first thing he does, day one, executive order, he opens the borders.
It was important that I played that clip because we got to go back a little bit. We got to go back. If we want to be logical and not talk emotional, we got to be logical with the conversation. He said that you're damn near the Antichrist if you have a difference of opinion from somebody. Like, when did we become those type of people? Is that acceptable to not be able to converse with somebody because you disagree with them? Not be able to be a friend to somebody because you disagree with them? Not be able to be in a relationship with your partner because you disagree with them? That's foolishness. But let's further on down the line with what he was saying. Stephen A. said that Biden inherited a 1.9 interest rate. It ballooned upwards to 10%. He capped because we went to a dealership and homes and certain things and looked and seen that it was 10% at one time. And this was like 4 or 5 months ago. So certain things that happened during Biden's election, I want to know in the comment section what y'all thought about Biden's presidency. Because to me, I don't know who was running the country. Just being honest with you. It was just like nobody, like no leadership existed. And to me, that put Kamala Harris running for presidency in jeopardy in the first place. Even though the first time in history we seen a president step down and the Democratic Party anointed somebody to replace Biden. They didn't have a competition. It's normally a competition. A couple of people get together and then you let the public pick who will be the representation. But they put her in place with only 100 days Let's get the business and go against Trump. So she was behind that from the jump. But I'm going to give y'all my take on why she lost. Just my opinion. This is just my opinion. And tell me if y'all agree or y'all disagree. And it ain't she, it's the Democrats. Everything Democratic was contradicting itself. The women's rights and the working class rhetoric. But I will come back to that. Kamala Harris was behind from the jump. People were tired of Joe Biden and the Democratic Party. The Republican Party swept all three branches of government, not just the presidential seat. From funding wars to opening borders to inflation. We just talked about that. Increasing from 1.9% to 9.1%. But back to contradicting themselves. Promoting abortion rights, but no rights on having men enter women's sports. And allow them to get their brains beat out, man. That's ridiculous to me. I may be wrong and I ain't regurgitating what other platforms be talking about. But the level of celebrity endorsements and contributions seemed nasty. Us as American people are far more intelligent than they think. We are not idiots. We don't go to Cardi B, Glorilla, or J-Lo for political perspectives. Why not include some intellectuals, some black intellectuals, some white intellectuals, some Latina intellectuals, and let them speak to give their point of view? Not only that, I felt as if other races was isolated during Kamala Harris' campaign. She didn't have to make it all about black. It seemed like it was a concert. It was something going on that she didn't go to Joe Rogan. She went to Club Shay Shay. But we only make up 12% of the country. You can't win solely on the black vote. That's just as a black man saying that. It's a job to represent the whole country, man. Joe Biden's term, the middle and the working class was struggling, living check to check. She had to inherit all of these things during her presidential, campaign. And then another thing that I felt like contributed to her losing was this.
Well, if anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Oh, really? So you'll leave the borders the way they are. You'll leave inflation the way it is. You'll leave the things that Trump was talking about he was going to fix. You'll keep funding the war. Is that what you'll really do? Oh, nah, you got to go, big dog. Another thing that I want to talk about that was important and I think caused her to lose, and I'm not bashing Kamala, whatever. I think it's Kamala. It's one word, not Kamala. I'm not bashing Kamala because she had this was the roughest campaign that you possibly could do. Only 100 days and you gave Trump 4 years. Think about that difference. He had 4 years to campaign after he lost. She had 100 days. I don't think a lot of people get into that. And at the end of the day, I felt as if she was going to lose from the jump because she seemed disingenuous when she speaked. It wasn't heartfelt and soulful to me. It sounded disingenuous to me. I could be wrong, but that's just how it sounded to me. So the two things that caught my attention, I want to know if y'all know what this is too. Unrealized capital gains tax. So that means if she would have got in office, she said this out of her own mouth that she was going to give capital gains tax to unrealized profits. You talking to people that's getting money, got investments, trying to make some money. So that means if I got a stock that's worth $1 million, I only put 100,000 in it. You're going to tax me as if I got $1 million in it because it's unrealized capital gain. That took you out. It almost took you out right there by itself because people who know about that and people who have achieved a certain level of finances and success and have obtained property, that unrealized capital gains tax actually goes against her real estate stuff. her talking about she's trying to get people in the door. You trying to get people $25,000 to the first time home buyers and all of that stuff. That goes against them because if the property goes up in value, you taxing them. So you making more on the back end with tax money by getting people into more properties. It's weird though when I think about that. And another thing is she said on Club Shay Shay that she would take the retirement age up to 70. You know, it's a blessing to be able to retire. But she said that I think because she want to keep Social Security intact because they saying that Social Security could run out. But Social Security could run out, but funding wars, we ain't talking about that money running out. Because that's an American benefit can run out, but funding the war, it won't run out. Interesting. You know, when she said that, I said, all the old people, they gone now. Because if I'm 66, 67, and you talking about, I'm thinking about retiring in 6 months, 8 months from now, and you telling me I got to work another 3 years? Nah, stop. Stop it. Now, I'm going to play another clip. And I ain't going to say Kamala Harris lost. I'm going to say the Democratic Party lost because all three branches lost, man. The Senate, the House, and the president's seat. I don't even know when the last time this had happened. Somebody educate me, man. I don't want to have to Google right now while I'm doing the podcast, but somebody educate me when the last time all three branches of government was on one side. Ever. Interesting. Let me play the clip, though.
Let me make the point.
Okay.
I happen to believe that biological males should not participate in women's sports. I am fine taking that position. Yeah, that's my point. Sometimes if you hear me out, you'll realize we're not even debating. But there are many Democrats who don't take that position. There are many people on the left who believe that, and let me be clear, I think trans women are women. I just think sports are divided in a very particular way. In 8th grade, we make a decision that we need to divide sports up by gender or by sex, right? Because we believe that there's something fundamentally different about biological boys and biological girls that say we shouldn't be running on the same track team. We shouldn't be boxing each other. I'm okay with that argument. I agree with that argument. I don't want to speak for Candace, but I suspect she agrees with me on this, and I suspect you agree with me on that. So we're not in disagreement on that. But just because I have that position doesn't mean that everyone who disagrees with me is being a hypocrite, because they don't begin from the same premise that I begin from. That's all I'm saying. So I don't think it's contradictory.
Hang on. All right, let me hang on. But what other premise could there possibly be? The bottom line is these are people who were born biological males who are competing against biological females, and there's a reason why we don't do that in sport. It's why the Olympics have always separated the sexes, because the truth is, if they didn't, women wouldn't win any medals.
Look, I mean, listen, I know that
I think what you should do is bring someone in who has the position that you're trying to debate. It's like you're trying to force a debate with me on something that we agree on. So bring on somebody who has the opposite position, and they can speak for that. But what I'm saying is that
I just wanted to add here, like, just to say where we do actually differentiate, like, trans women are absolutely not women. And that's why we're playing the crazy game right now, is because we have people that are trying to parse reality and say, well, I believe trans women are women, but they're also biological men. Like, the fact that we are calling them trans women, it is because they are not women. I am a woman, and no matter how you feel on the inside, you are never going to be a woman. And that disagreement, that fundamental disagreement, is the reason why we are playing the crazy game. I won't play it. I will not address a man that is in a dress as a woman. It's insulting to me. It's insulting to the things that actual women lived through in their lives. And, you know, you can play Halloween, you can put lipstick on a pig. It is still a pig, and it is just Halloween. So I just feel very strongly about that, and I wanted to make that clear. And that this is a large part, though, Piers, going back to your point of why, because my sisters were on the left, and this is the first election that they voted for Trump. They're from Connecticut, dyed-in-the-wool Democrats, I guess you could say, and they moved away. And the trans issue was the number one reason that they did.
Yeah.
You know, I will always be independent because I feel as if I have the right to choose what I want to choose. I have freedom of choice. Nobody can sway my thought process and my beliefs and make me change who I am or what I stand on and my beliefs system. So I'm always be an independent. I'll never be. If they would have to give me a position a significant amount of bread because I'm for sale. You know what I'm saying? If y'all want to holler at me, hit me up. Y'all see the Cash App or the email or whatever. You know what I mean? In the description. I could be down with a team. I ain't opposed to picking a side. But until it's something of value or something that is life-changing, I'm going to always be me and be an independent thinker, independently in all aspects of life. So what she said, though, Lamont Hill, I like him. He just became a member of the Joe Budden podcast. I like him a lot. He's a Democrat, right? Me, I'm an independent. Mark Lamont Hill is a Democrat. Candace Owens, she's a Republican, a conservative. You know, what was interesting to me about that conversation was that he said that the transgenders is like being highlighted and being able to get laws changed has happened because of the Democrats. That's basically what he said. The Democrats approved that. So it was Obama. I feel as if Obama started it with all these laws and bathroom laws, and the woman can go in the bathroom and trainees can. It was unnecessary. You never passed no laws for black folks, civil rights in the 60s or whatever, but up to date ones. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got no laws passed for us. Even the one Kamala was fighting for with the George Floyd. What was that law? The something law. The George Floyd law. And what's interesting, Candace Owens said, it's you're not a man, you're not a woman, you are what you was born. You know, I gave both perspectives because it was two totally different perspectives. And one was a Republican perspective and one was a Democrat perspective. If you for that, or you ain't speaking out against that, then you lean to that side, the Democratic side. So they are for your daughter getting punched in the face in boxing and having men participate in female sports and all these laws for these sexual things that's going on. Candace Owens is in the belief that God created all things. That seems like that's demonic a little bit, to be honest with you, to be able to not be for that. I mean, to be for that. But Candace Owens was like, you are who you was born. You shouldn't be able to play sports with men. She broke down her perspective and all of that. And I agree with that, man. I agree with that. Real talk, I really do. I agree with that because if I had a daughter, I couldn't handle that. I wouldn't want to. I don't have a daughter, and I wouldn't want her to go in the women's bathroom if men could go in there. Like I got a 5-year-old, 6-year-old daughter. She using the bathroom. I got to go in there too, because it could be a whole grown ass nigga in there. That's what I would think about. It's just interesting. Which party is for what? Is that freedom? Is that what people want, to be free for people to be able to do what they want to do sexually and all of that? Being black should be a freedom too, though. It's just interesting, man. What side do y'all lean on in that topic? Do y'all agree with Candace? Or should men playing women's sports and be knocking women out? Let's get on to the next conversation. This was an interesting take, too, from Charleston White.
Thing about the police immunity is not that they get immunity for you. They get immunity for losing their benefits. They get immunity to protect their jobs, because a lot of good police officers are doing their job or losing their job for doing their job, right? They're losing their job for doing their job. So it's giving the immunity for the good police officers that's out being good cops. Nobody likes a bad cop, especially good cops. So they want us to believe that the police is just waking up. Nobody's killing more black people than the hood. Nobody's killing more black men than other black men. But I want to say it again. They give the killer immunity. Look how much immunity Woody got. They love killers. The black community gives immunity to the killers when they say no snitching. Look at all the people saying free dirt. Free dirt. They give them immunity. So why not at least give the police immunity? At least they do protect the community. These guys and these rappers don't protect the community. They cause more harm and more destruction than anybody known to us, but we still clap for them.
Salute, man. I don't normally agree with Charleston White, but that immunity claim or the fear tactic that is going to change something. That's my take on it. Nothing's going to change. It's still about you, your decisions that you make, you know, your actions, the way that you carry yourself, how you treat yourself, the way people perceive you. Ain't nothing going to change if they got immunity. You know, like he was saying, the streets got immunity, get immunity. Nigga killed, don't nobody say nothing. He out here still killing. And getting celebrated at the same time. He the realest in the hood. A person that's getting money, most of the time, the get money dudes that's out here fly fresh and trying to help the community, they the ones get 30 years. Killer get fired, come home and get celebrated. Police, like he said, they just trying to make sure that they get paid. They got a job, a way to provide for their family. At the end of the day, I think that people gonna do what they want to do regardless. Police, military, president, girlfriend, your family member. People gonna do what they want to do regardless. So you got to do you, and hold yourself accountable, and you know what I mean, act accordingly. A lot of people be, man, you know, it was crazy to me. I come to realize that a lot of individuals, they be wanting to just do whatever they want to do. When I look at this election thing, why I'm saying that is because it seems like the Democratic side, they'll let you do whatever you want to do. They'll let you run amok, tear the country up, spend the money. Look at all the cities that they win in. The majority cities, the metropolitan cities. I'm living in a metropolitan city, but the part she won in was L.A. and New York. That's where she blew folks out. Chicago. Them the filthiest cities in the country, man. You know what I'm saying? It's too much going on. It's dirty. It's just that they let you run amok on that side. People don't like laws, rules, and regulations. And I think that's what the Republican side be doing. They be enforcing laws, rules, and regulations. And if you do what you supposed to do, you act accordingly, you'll thrive in that. But if you don't act accordingly, it's going to be harder, man. You ain't going to be able to just be getting and living and doing and running amok. Real talk. I read this book earlier. I didn't tell y'all about this, but this is Dr. Claude Anderson. Something I was going to react and review his whole book, but I just want to play a clip. I don't want to do too much and make a whole review on it. It's the book, in this part of the book, it was talking about a permanent underclass. And if we don't unify, if we don't come together, if we don't create an agenda, then we won't be number 2 no more. And in the book Powernomics, it just spoke a lot of game to me, and I suggest everybody go read it. It gave me a lot of game on how things are the way they are and why people are reacting in the ways that they react to situations with feelings and emotions. That it made me come to a conclusion that the best thing for me to do is talk to my people, give them the game, share the information that I got with them, hope they share that information with me so we can get some money together, and just focus on me. Because all of this racial tension stuff and all of these things, anything that creates division, even competition, I really don't even want to compete with you. I want to see you win. That's how I go about everything. I gotta stay away from it. The Republican Democrat thing, I gotta stay independent. The religion thing, I gotta believe what I believe because it's about me. When I heard this book, it talks about the race, the black race, and multiple races, but it's like we still traumatized from slavery. Real talk.
And that black folk are still fighting for self-sufficiency and competitiveness in this country, and that we must come together quickly or what risk being a permanent underclass in the society.
One of the alarming predictions you make in the book is along those lines. You mentioned that blacks will be pretty much a permanent underclass in America by the year 2015. Why the year 2015?
2015 because what I've concluded from analysis is that there are going to be a converging of social factors nationally and internationally that's going to place blacks in a permanent status of underclassship. And one, we anticipate by that point in time, based on all the research that's coming to us, that the next generation of whites is going to be more anti-black than they've been since the civil rights movement. Two, we anticipate by the same token about 86 million Hispanics coming into the United States and about 41 million Asians by that point in time, which is going to kick black folk out of being the minority in the society down to a minority. We've been number 2 in the society for 400 years as a group. We're going to become number 4. And if we have not gotten anything after being number 2 for 400 years, you guess what's going to happen when we become number 4. Because at that point in time, all the new groups coming into America, they're coming in higher than we are because this country operates off of a preferential acceptance program, which means that groups are coming in based on skin color. They're going from the lightest down to the darkest. Light, yellow, brown, black. And that's what our immigration laws are based on. And black folk will not be able to penetrate through those groups to get to the white society when that happens, because those groups owe us nothing. They don't understand our problems, and they are competitive with us, and we don't begin to be a little more aggressive about being in a competitive posture. They're going to eat our lunches.
When I think about like race and class and I want to ask y'all a question. I want to give y'all a perspective on both sides. What matters more in America, like race or class? Because a class is a ranking system. A race is just the difference between melanin and skin texture. It's a social construct created. Black and white isn't a real thing. It's a creation. But class, based upon skin color and entry and connection and all of that old type of stuff, class is a ranking system by how we value you. It's just interesting because, like, how did we come in and was the second most populated people in the country and end up, what's the factors that making us end up being less and less and less? Because if you look at the statistics, he said 2015 on the clip, but if you look at the statistics, by a couple of more years, we'll be the 4th for real. He said that in 2001 on that clip, the permanent underclass. It's 2024. It's the Caucasian people, the Latina people, the people that's crossing the border the most is the Asian people. I didn't even notice till I started doing the statistics. So the Asian people is outpacing us in growth and in population. So by us being 4th, we ain't gonna be prioritized as much, because when it comes to government and governing things, your vote ain't gonna matter as much. Your opinion ain't gonna matter as much because you're not needed as much. Interesting. I'm gonna read some tweets right quick and give y'all my perspective on the tweets, and then I'm gonna read what I wrote about my perspective on why Trump won. I'm gonna get up off of this thing, man. But the first tweet that I'm gonna read after Kamala Harris lost, LeBron James put up a post, and it was very interesting because I looked at this in a perspective to have a conversation with y'all about and wonder what y'all take and y'all perspective is on this, because like it's just interesting to see King James put heavy on my heart and mind. This AM, my princess, I promise to protect you with everything I have and more. We don't need their help. When I looked at that, I thought about morals versus money. Because a person can be morally right in areas and then be money motivated in another one. You know what I'm saying? Like, morally, he felt as if Kamala Harris, I'm just assuming this, Kamala Harris was in the best interest of his kids and his daughter and her future and her rights to be able to do what she want to do. But financially, him being a billionaire and tax benefits and certain financial benefits, he will want Trump in office. So morals over money, it's just morals versus money. That's what I meant to say. It's just interesting because what do you have? What do you choose? That's why I think it's best to be independent and an independent thinker, because it gives you a choice to choose a person that you think would be in the best interest of everything that you love. But you know, some people are not financially, you know, when you think about the poor, sometimes people do things financially that's not in the best interest of their morals. Like a person that's hustling or in the streets trapping or whatever. He know what he doing ain't morally right. He really don't even want to do it. A real person that's out there, he has to do it. He know it ain't morally right, but he's financially motivated because he got to get something to go somewhere to be able to do something. And I look at that like that with Brian, and you know what I'm saying, that post, it just was intriguing. Let's get to the next post. To Vice President Kamala, no matter what they said to bring you down or belittle your run for presidency, they can never say you didn't run your race with honesty and with integrity. You really put up a fight against all the odds that were already stacked against you. You never accept defeat as an option, which says so much about your strength and about your heart. You really wanted better for all of us. This may not mean much, but I'm so proud of you. No one has ever made me change my mind, and you did. I never thought I would see the day that a woman of color. Okay. Cardi B. This is Cardi B's tweet I'm reading, if you're listening to the audio version. A woman of color will be running for the president of the United States. But you have shown my daughters and women across the country that anything is possible. Thank you for being an example. Thank you for being empowered. Thank you for being a real example of what the American dream should be. What is the American dream? How would you define the American dream now? It's changed. What's the real true American dream? If you're an American and you love this country, what's the dream? Real talk. Own some farmland, couple million in a bank, don't have to wake up married to the most beautiful woman in the world, with your house and your 4-5 acres with the plants in the backyard and your animals in the backyard, with your truck and your Wraith outside, $100,000 lawnmower and all of that. Is that the new American dream? Because the American dream looks like gluttony now. You know what I mean? It look like gluttony, like we just want shit. There's no motive behind it. There's no structure behind it. We just want a whole bunch of we just want stuff, man. Let me get to the last perspective, man. I'm gonna read what I wrote about why I thought Trump won. And I'm gonna get up off of this thing, man. So when corporate media and what Trump likes to call fake news failed him, he put on a clinic doing independent media like podcasts and streaming platforms. From Aiden Ross, Joe Rogan, Flagrant 2, and Theo Von. Also, he had 4 years of campaigning, and Kamala only had 100 days. He spoke directly to the issues that an average American voter is concerned about, like their finances, the border, and not funding the wars. Even made the claim to end the war in 24 hours. Surviving the shooting played a key role in him being reelected. Just my perspective, dog. Because it made some people sympathetic to him. The 34 felony counts backfired on the prosecution. To me, because Americans love criminals. We celebrate criminals, man. We sympathize with criminals. You know, we watch them in movie roles. It's just something about America and the criminal. And it's a criminal that everybody know that they look up at like a upstanding person. And some criminals might be shitty individuals. It's just based upon the person. You know, both candidates sold hope, but one told you what he was going to do and the other told you what they was going to try to do. And the one who told you may have lied, but the conviction and confidence resonated with the people more than that the one who told you what they trying to do and may have been telling the truth. Real talk, man. Hey, I appreciate y'all, man. Real talk. Being a part of my channel, being subscribed to my channel, and coming checking out the content. Thank you. Peace, love, plenty of abundance. Make sure you go get you some money, and I'm gone. Chill.
The Trevor Jackson Podcast.